Hello gainers, I'm Ralphie and welcome to my little channel on YouTube called Fitter Philosophy. This is Billy. Billy is a standard contemporary tabby white moggy, and Billy is a grounded cat. Aren't you, Billy? Aren't you quite grounded? Yeah. He cleans himself regularly. He licks all the bits he needs to lick to stay fresh. He catches mice out in the local fields, so as that if there's no humans around to give them dried food and tinned food, he's going to do just fine. There are ungrounded cats. They tend to be confined to flats or houses. They don't see the outside world, so their perspective on reality is constrained and limited. And exactly the same thing happens to humans, by the way, which is what I'm really here to talk about, is that one of the great skills in life is being grounded, being devoid of self-delusion, which helps protect us from being deluded by others, from fanciful notions which don't have any practical bearings to the real world and real life, and to concepts, ideas and notions which leave us vulnerable in life because we don't have that enhanced spark of common sense, and importantly of rehearsed and practiced instincts, which helps to defend us against everything around us, humans and the natural world, which would seek to harm us, damage us, exploit us, and yes, even kill us. One of the things I really notice in cats and dogs is strong instinctive maturity, which helps in their groundedness. I notice increasingly in humans that this is lacking, and there are some practical reasons for this, because humans, more than most other animals, particularly animals in the wild, less so domesticated animals, are living in a chemical world, and that chemical world creates what's called ambient toxicity. From even the water that we are told is clean and fresh, it contains fluoride, it contains high doses of chlorine, even more than are strictly necessary to kill any of the little bugs which could give us tummy upsets. We live in a world where pharmaceuticals are constantly within very easy reach, and we are not just encouraged, we are absolutely at times bullied to consume the pharmaceuticals in the idea that suppressing symptoms will generate good health. Now, it has its place. I don't want to over-polarize the subject here, but we know, most people know, that we have a contaminated food supply, not with pathological bugs and sources of disease, but with highly refined, processed, particularly carbohydrates, but we can include so-called vegetable oil. These are basically transparent, visible contaminants in the food supply, which will harm our health, particularly when we overconsume, which we are encouraged to do because we are treated as economic unit consumers. And this is where the less grounded we are, the more we buy into the superficiality of the imposed world and narrative around us, imposed by a very small minority of humans, who are slaves to other masters. The more we become vulnerable, the more we connect with the natural world, the more we understand the ebb and flow of the seasons, the elements, the pace of the natural world, the more we simply practice our own internal silence, then when we meet other people, when we are in other situations out with our norm, we can respond more sensitively and in a more grounded manner to what is actually around us. What are the threats? Who are the friends? Where are the safe spaces? And where are the threatening environments? It's not something we learn overnight. And unfortunately, many young children these days do not have parent or parents who will actually teach them the greater skills of life through interaction, through travelling, through engagement in social events. This is increasingly lacking, and I notice that humanity is changing significantly. And it's when I meet some people who are grounded, whatever their circumstances or age, I just find the quality of communication and discourse between us is so much more substantial than when I'm trying to communicate with people who are naive, delusional, distracted, discouraged, dwelling in the negative, and our conversation very quickly shuts down because unfortunately there's just no point in it actually happening. Now, this may be to a certain extent your experience, but I tell you what does help at the end of the day is, see, when you've got some grounded little critters around, the furry type, but not always. Animals and having pets are a great way. I notice this particularly with elderly people, that because the families aren't visiting, that their pets, the cats, the dogs, the rabbits, become family, become a grounded and dependable, reliable, consistent, comforting companionship part of the family. And this is one reason why pets are so valuable in the modern world. Don't think even pets is the right name for it anymore. I think that extended adoptive family is far more accurate. And there we have it. I really don't think there's anything much more I want to say on this subject, except that I'm going to give you 3 practical ways to remain grounded. 1, be honest with yourself. 2, review the caliber of friends you keep and the caliber of people that you reject as friends. And 3, be patient with yourself. Life doesn't improve overnight, particularly when we've been through a rough spell, whether it be chronic ill health or a bereavement. It's a question of tapping into the pace of time and allowing time to do its thing in less of a hurry. And there we are. There you have it. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, click subscribe. I was going to say subscribe, but that's not what I mean. So I'm going to say click subscribe. Leave a like, leave a comment. I'm Ralphie. See you soon.